I want to bring in the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. So much news unfolding right now. The third-ranking Republican in the House, Congresswoman Liz Cheney, as you know, she now says she will actually vote to impeach President Trump tomorrow when this resolution comes up for a vote. The last time you impeached President Trump, you did so with no Republican support in the House, no Republican support at all. So what does this development mean?
Well, it means that she won't be alone. There are going to be other Republicans influenced by her decision. And these things have a way of gathering momentum. So I wouldn't be surprised now to see a considerable number of Republicans join in supporting the impeachment resolution. And these reports that Mitch McConnell may be open to the impeachment charges as well is quite a potential earthquake in the Senate.
Well, we've been reporting, you're absolutely right, the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, is indicating right now that he believes impeaching President Trump will make it easier to rid the Republican Party of what they call Trumpism. What does that stance tell you about how Senate Republicans might approach an impeachment trial? He'll be impeached in the House. Simple majority will impeach him tomorrow. But then you need a two-thirds majority in the Senate to convict. 67 senators. There are 50 Democrats. You need 17 Republicans to vote to convict. What do you think the chances of that are?
You know, it's very hard to say. Two-thirds is obviously a very high bar. And, you know, there are senators who, even after the attempted insurrection, went back to contesting the election all over again, you know, seemingly shameless and not the least bit circumspect about what they had contributed to the mayhem in the Capitol. But one thing that is interesting to me, Wolf, and that is even those Republicans that have not come out for impeachment or criticized a potential impeachment, none have said that they think that the president's conduct was not impeachable. They made objections about whether to move forward in the last days of the presidency or when, you know, barring the president is the only remaining remedy. But none have expressed the view thus far that I've seen that this incitement into insurrection was not impeachable. And so that tells you a lot about the seriousness with which members of the House and Senate take that mob attack on our Capitol.
Well, one hypothetical question, Congressman, then I want to get into the security threats here in the U.S. Capitol. But hypothetically, if the Vice President, Mike Pence, and a majority of the cabinet right now were to implement the 25th Amendment to the Constitution and force Trump out, would the impeachment resolution and potentially a trial down the road, would all that go away?
Well, you know, that would be a decision, I think, for our caucus with the leadership of the Speaker. And so, you know, I think we'll cross that bridge if we get to it. Up until this point, frankly, in the last 4 years, Mike Pence has shown no willingness, ability to stand up to this president in any way. You know, even on certification day, he did his bare minimal constitutional duty. That was a pretty low bar. Whether he'll rise to the occasion now is still very much in doubt. But one thing I can tell you is certain, we're going to do our duty in the House. And if he's not gone, we're going to impeach him to protect this country, because every day, every minute, every hour he remains in office, this nation is at risk.
We're just getting word that a third Republican in the House, Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, has just announced he too will vote in favor of impeaching the President of the United States. So the numbers are beginning to increase right now. Let's turn, Congressman, to this very serious ongoing threat to the U.S. Capitol and to lawmakers like you right now. I know you've been briefed on these threats. How concerned are you about the security of the heart of our democracy as we approach Inauguration Day in 8 days?
Well, I'm concerned about it, certainly, and I know my colleagues are. I had a briefing today by the FBI about what the threats are. And I tell you, you know, it's terrible in two respects. It's terrible that we have to deal with these threats. It's terrible that they're proliferating around the country, that at state capitals now, they're going to have to intensify their security. I fully plan to attend the inauguration. I'm confident it will go forward without being sidetracked, derailed, nothing like what we saw I think is going to occur again because we will be prepared for it. But that doesn't mean there won't be violence. It doesn't mean there won't be large crowds and agitation. It doesn't mean that there isn't real plotting going on, because it is. It's obviously going to take a long time for us to get through this terrible period of our history, but we will get through it.
I just want you to be careful. I tell this to every member of the House and the Senate and all the people who work up there. Stay safe right now. As I drive around Capitol Hill and I see the enormous security that has been implemented in the aftermath of the attack on the U.S. Capitol last week, it is so disheartening and so concerning what's going on. Congressman Adam Schiff, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, and you stay safe yourself, Wolf, because the press obviously have been very much a target of this president and his supporters as well. And what a terrible tragedy it is in this country that both our legislators and the members of the press should be threatened by their own presidency.
And on that point, and it was very alarming when I heard Michael Sherwin, the acting U.S. attorney here in Washington, D.C., at his news conference just a couple hours or so ago. He said that these individuals not only wanted to attack you and your fellow lawmakers, but specifically had targeted the news media as well. And for that, I blame in part the president of the United States. For 4 years, he's accused us of being the enemy of the American people. He says we're spreading fake news, all of which is a total lie. And for the acting U.S. attorney here in Washington to say there are now specific threats against the news media, my colleagues and a whole bunch of others, it's very alarming. Do you want to make a final point?
Well, I do. About 16 years ago, I formed a bipartisan caucus on freedom of the press with a fellow freshman member named Mike Pence. And to think now that the concerns we had about press freedom around the world and the danger to press around the world, we now have in spades in this country, is a terrible and tragic turn of events for the United States.
It certainly is. It's an awful moment indeed. Congressman, thanks once again for